Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, HHM Lifestyle. So happy you're here with me tonight. You know what time it is, it's Friday night. So grab your wine or what your drink of choice. It's time for another episode of Wine with me, so let's go. Guys, thanks so much. Welcome back. Welcome to my Friday night's Wine with me, where we just grab a drink and chill out and just have some chit chat. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel. What are you waiting for? Okay, so I have my drink of choice tonight is a nice glass of cold Riesling. It just hits the spot. It's Friday. I have the weekend off, but I don't know what's harder sometimes, being at work all day Friday or being at home with my two children all day Friday. It's about 7:30, quarter to 8 right now. It's almost springtime, so it's still a little bit light outside, which is fantastic. I need spring. I don't know about you guys, but I need spring so desperately. I need sun. I'm over winter. I'm just done with it. So yeah, I got my comfy pillow here. I got my wine, and let's just have a little chat. Give you a little life update again. You guys know from the last time that we had a bit of a house situation. If you haven't already, check out that video because that's just exciting in and of itself. But we finally, after December, January, February, March now, like 4 or 5 months, are finally almost situated with our house. We finally have all of our new appliances. We went so long without like a dishwasher, washer and dryer, oven. I was so over, I love my air fryer, but I was so over cooking every single meal in my toaster oven air fryer. And nothing against washing dishes by hand, but I really miss my dishwasher, so I'm so glad that's back. Finally have all our appliances. It's so nice. Lights in all the rooms again, so a couple things here and there, but mainly we're just about back to normal, which is fantastic. But what did happen is a month ago, we all got COVID. Yep, we all got COVID. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of my COVID experience because I give a lot of COVID information on here since I give the vaccines. So I want to let you know what it was like to actually have COVID. All of our kids had COVID. It just ran through the house. So it was like a weekend and my daughter had a little cold. But it just seemed like a different cold. Like the symptoms came on very sudden and she had a super high fever that like I just couldn't get under control. And I hate fever with kids. Like I just hate the fevers because I hate when I feel like I can't get the fevers down. Fevers scare me. Her fever kept spiking to like 102, 102.5, no matter how much Tylenol, Motrin I kept in her system. I had to do cold washcloths. Like so it was just a different type of cold. So I'm like, okay, something's just weird with this. She has such a high fever that happened like overnight. And she was just getting like chills and sweating. And I never have seen her in that state of a high fever where she was almost like delirious. Like it was a little scary. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to test her. I had a home test kit. I'm like, I'm just going to test her for the heck of it because this just seems weird. Did not think it'd be positive. And literally within 2 seconds, that line was hardcore. Like if you guys have ever taken a pregnancy test, it's like, it was hardcore positive. So I was like, ugh. She did okay. I mean, we kind of just had to push through the symptoms. So really bad fever. She had a bad cough. That was about it with her. It was a couple days after she was through the worst, I started getting like a sore throat. And I was like, is this like a cold sore throat or is this just a dry air sore throat? Obviously I work in healthcare. I was like, I have to test myself. I tested positive. I was like, ugh, no. I had very minimal symptoms. Honestly, I've had colds way worse than COVID. I'm also vaccinated and boosted, so that probably had something to do with it. Very minimal symptoms, just stuffy nose, cough, mainly the stuffiness was what I had. And obviously you're out of work for the 5 days, which was nice, but at the same time, it's like I've had colds way worse than this and I've worked through it. So, but it is what it is with COVID. But who got it the worst was my son. So I thought he was in the clear because it was like 5 days after my daughter and he was fine, no symptoms. I'm like, he didn't catch it. Like this is a miracle, like amazing. because he was the one I was worried about because he's 1.5. He woke up one morning and he was a little snotty, and I was like, I'm a little nervous, but just runny nose. He took a nap. I laid him down for a nap, and I heard him coughing. I am not kidding you when I'm saying it went from like 0 to 100 in a matter of 3-4 hours. Like, he woke up from this nap and he was a different kid. His cough was so croupy. It sounded like an RSV cough. I'm gonna insert a clip of his cough so you can see what I dealt with when we woke up from the nap. So here it is. Yeah, so isn't that awful? My heart was breaking. I was like, this is not good. Like, this is not a good cough. And I felt like he was like struggling to breathe. I called his pediatrician and she kind of heard him through the phone and she was like, you got to take him to the ER. I was like, oh, no. Went down to the ER and the poor little dude's oxygen level was low. Like, he had a super high fever. It was awful. So they admitted him like right away. It was a long, long day. Like, we didn't stay overnight or anything, but we were there for probably 8 hours. They couldn't get his fever down, so they kept giving him Motrin and Tylenol. They gave him a really high dose of steroid, a long-acting one, so it was going to last over the course of a few days. Super high steroid dose to help with that cough and the just swelling that was starting to happen, because that's the problem with COVID. You get the swelling in the airway and it constricts, and that's what can be scary, especially with the little ones. I'm glad we got that steroid in his system ASAP. Finally got his fever down and we were able to go home, but that was a rough day. Yeah, and I knew we were gonna go to the hospital. I thought maybe a nebulizer solution or something. I did not think we were gonna be there for 8 hours. I mean, I had my diaper bag, I had a bottle, I had some packets of food, but you're also rushing out the door to go to the hospital. It's not like you have an hour to pack a bag, you know? I was rushing. I had to find someone to watch my daughter. I was just worried about getting him there. So I mean, in a matter of 2-3 hours, like, we went through the bottle. We went through the 3 food packets. My phone was ready to die because he was watching Elmo on my phone. So like, after the 6-hour point, they gave us the option, like, do you want it to stay? Like, his stats are better. His fever it's not like, he still has a fever, but it's improved. They're just looking for improvement. So I think it dropped from like 102 and it was finally in the hundreds. So they're like, his fever's improved. We'll give you the option. Like, do you want to stay overnight or do you want to go home? And I was like, we need to go home. He needs to be home. I need to be home. We've run out of supplies. I have no supplies. We need to go home. We went home and it was actually great because he had that high dose of steroid and it lasted like 3 days. So by the time the steroid got out of his system, his symptoms were basically gone. The one thing about COVID I've noticed is that it hits hard like the first day or two, but then it's over. So it's like a wave and then it's gone. So that was that. And then my husband got it like 3 days later. It was like 3 days later. It was so weird. Charlotte got it. 3 days later, I got it. 3 days later, Will. Then 3 days later, my husband. He was fine too. He had very minimal symptoms, but again, vaccinated, boosted. So that probably had something to do with it. But I'm very lucky that it could have been way worse. I mean, if this was the light variant, like the lower variant of symptoms that my kids had, and Will was that sick in a matter of hours, I do not even want to know what some of the crazy variants would have been like if he got it. Like, absolutely horrifying, just absolutely horrifying. Like, some people don't always take it seriously until it hits home. I've always taken it seriously just because I work in healthcare, but when it hits your kids, it's a whole new ball game. And I'm just so thankful that we got through it. It's done. They have a little immunity against it now, so that's over. And the one thing that I will tell you guys is if anyone in your family of your children get COVID and you have to be out of work, the government does offer the paid family leave if your kids have COVID. But what they do not tell you is that it has to be a PCR test. They don't accept the home COVID test. So my husband is fighting right now because he did not get paid for being home with the kids because I don't have a job where I can just take sick days easily. So when they're sick, if my husband's able to stay home, he stays home. I can try to get a day off, but it's very challenging in my line of work to get days off. It's just the nature of the job. He obviously took the week off to be home with the kids because we couldn't send them to my parents' house when they were positive. Charlotte is 3. We didn't send her to get a PCR test because her home test came back positive. There was no need for her to go get a PCR. When Will was in the hospital, they were like, he clearly has COVID. He doesn't need to be traumatized with the PCR test in the nostrils. Like, we know he has COVID. But just food for thought, they will not give you paid family leave without that PCR test. So my recommendation to you, to save you a little bit of headache, as difficult as it is if you have little kids, if they test positive with a home test, take them to the urgent care and get the free PCR test so you have the paper proof. Then you're going to be getting paid. So I wish I would have known that. I wish someone would have told me that. So there's your advice for the day. So lastly, I usually answer a question in our little Wine With Me night. A big question that I get asked sometimes is, how do you always stay on track? Switching gears right now, as far as how do you stay on track as far as weight loss and goals. You guys know I'm big into goal setting and nutrition, and I've lost about 45 pounds. I have a solid 15 more to lose before I'm at my goal. But I get a question like, how do you always stay consistent? And I'm gonna give you guys one tip to take home that is essential as far as reaching goals when it comes to weight loss. You ready? Ready. That tip is to prep your food, guys. Prep your food. You have to prep your food. You don't have to fully meal prep if you don't want to do that. But if you want to be successful long term, you gotta plan out what you're eating. You gotta write it down, plan out your meals, plan out what you're having, go to the store, get the stuff, and then at least try to prep some of it. That's how you stay consistent, because the times that I go off track are the times where I don't have anything in my fridge, or I don't have anything prepped, or I don't know what we're eating. That's when I'm like, let's order out, or let's do this, or I'm going to eat this because I don't have anything prepped. So biggest tip I'm going to give you to take home is prep your food, plan out what you're eating. That's a huge, plus it's a time saver too. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of time at once, but it's going to save you time throughout the week. So just, if you're not going to fully meal prep, at least plan out what you're eating. It helps so much. So that is my takeaway tip. But yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. If you guys have any COVID stories you want to share, feel free to drop them in the comment section. It is always nice hanging out with you guys and just having a casual chit chat. So until the next Friday night, cheers. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the night and weekend. And like always, make sure to like this channel, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay happy, healthy moms. Bye, guys.